Boom. We're going to do that. Okay, folks. How y'all doing? It's your boy, Andre English, coming back at you today. Just wanted to do a little discussion, and this is going to be a little bit more of a high-level discussion. Come say hello and then go bye-bye.
And your girl, Bob.
And your girl, Bob. Thank you. This is going to be a little bit of a, I don't want to say high-level discussion, but it's going to be a real and honest discussion and appraisal of something that I've talked about previously before, never really recently, but several years ago, and have just really started to really revisit this, in particular, due to what's going on in the world, and also in particular to some of the people that I am participating with and working with on a regular basis. And so because of those things, I really wanted to get into this particular discussion. Now, it's going to really be what I think will probably be one of the most important lives that I've done in quite some time. For those of you who thought that you're definitely going to come and see another Forex presentation or a Forex, that is not what I'm doing on this particular live. This particular live was really driven and brought to my attention to sort of bring back and have this discussion thanks to our mentor, Mr. Randy Webb, who did a fantastic job this morning covering one of the laws of success from Napoleon Hill's book. And throughout that conversation this morning, it just reminded me a lot about this particular topic. And I wanted to do something about it because I think in some regards, I'm really uniquely positioned to have this conversation. All right. And so why do I say that? Well, again, Andre English coming at you, but my background is really simple, right? I'm Black, but my mom was white and my dad was Black. And I grew up primarily with my mom. My stepdad also had a factor in raising me, and he was also Black as well. We grew up in a pretty good lifestyle, but I was able to navigate and negotiate both sides of things. And what I mean by that is that I had opportunities that some of my friends who were also African-American might not have had. Like growing up, I was able to go to like camps that taught me sailing, and I would go to Catalina Island during the summer and go water skiing and just different stuff that a lot of the friends that I knew growing up didn't have opportunities to do. Okay. I also grew up in a very unique environment where I've always been in an environment where my mother was an entrepreneur, and the man who raised me, my dad, he owned his own medical practice. And so I have that background of free enterprise that's really put into my DNA from the time that I was little. I mean, literally, from the time that I can remember, my mom would go to one of my aunt's houses and she would go to meetings for Amway in the 70s. Okay. This is growing up. I grew up and this, my aunt is one of those extended family aunts that we have in the Black community because my mother was a teenage runaway. And so my mother ran away from home at 17 years old, found herself in California, basically with nothing. And this family took her in and helped her get back on her feet. And they just became an extension of our family at that point in time. And they were very successful. They lived in Baldwin Hills at the time. That was considered the Black Beverly Hills in Los Angeles. And I would go there and literally my aunt would do a presentation for Amway in which she achieved a fairly significant rank in that particular business. She was an educator, a teacher. Her husband, my uncle, he had started a record label back in the 50s and 60s. Record label did really well, eventually sold the record label to Capitol Records. In fact, even some of the songs on Forrest Gump are actually his songs. And so they get residuals from that. So like I've been around this environment like my whole life, this environment of entrepreneurship, not always recognizing what was taking place. But even at a young age, going back to that story, at 3 years old, you know, my aunt would finish the presentation, and at that time, you know, they had vitamins that were being sold through that company, and the vitamins used to look like horse tablets, like they were just huge. And people would say, hey, this looks like an amazing opportunity, but there's no way I can swallow that. And so literally, I would come from the back, and I've never had the problem of swallowing a pill, right? Even from a young age, I could just take it and swallow it. I don't need water or anything like that. I just put it and take it and swallow it, right? And so they would bring me out, and here I come, my little 3-year-old self. I'd come from the back, and I would grab the pill, and I'd say, okay, and I take it and swallow it, and they say, okay, bye-bye, Andre, and I'd go back to going and playing someplace else, and everybody would be like, well, if a 3-year-old can do it, I can do it, right? And so I've been around and had different experiences growing up, but I also had a common experience associated to my skin color, the fact that I'm Black in America, and that experience also shaped me. And so when I went to college, I went 3,000 miles away from home. I went from Los Angeles to New York. At that point in time, my father had passed away. My mother had fell on extreme economic hardship. I had no family out there, no resources, no anything. And so there was a lot of challenges, but there was also a lot of awakening that I was able to participate in terms of what was our struggle, what are some of the things that have happened to us, and what has been going on in our communities, and how have we been impacted and not infected, but affected. And that led me to what was really primarily my life's mission, which is basically to help people find freedom in whatever form that they consider that, but to achieve freedom in their lifetime, right? And so I have worked diligently since 18, 19 years old on that particular issue. The first avenue that I took to do that was fighting against injustice. I helped start and organize the Youth Network to the largest anti-police brutality organization in the country. So all of these rallies, all of these demonstrations, all of these protests, all this stuff that you see coming out right now is not new. Back in the 1990s, we did rallies in 55 cities on the same day simultaneously. We had over 100,000 people pour onto the streets across the country, fighting against that particular injustice, pre-social media, right? And so from there, you know, we would go and I would do free clothing drives, and we would do political education classes for free, and we would do so many different activities. And the one common denominator that we would always come up against was simply the fact that, Dre, you're right. I do need to work on this. I would like to participate. I would like to come for the class. I would like to give my time and effort to empower my community, but I'm working 2 and 3 jobs. I still can't make ends meet. I have no one to watch the children. I have all these different challenges going on. I don't own my own home. You know, I can't get into school. There's so many different things that were blocking people systemically from their particular advancement, which led me to the industry of, or not into the industry, but looking at the concepts of economic empowerment, which eventually led me to the industry of network marketing. So I wanted to give you that background because 2020 for a lot of people has been a very tough year. It's been a very, very tough year for a lot of people. A lot of people have found themselves in crisis, whether it's the relationship of the health crisis that's gripped the world, whether it's loss of job due to that crisis, whether it's discovering that they weren't really doing nearly as well as they thought they were. As soon as the resources of their job were taken away, it took just a check or two before they were in dire straits financially. Whether it's the political climate, that's one that's basically toxic in our country, where people can't even have a civil conversation. Whether it's the social justice issues, which are very real and very prevalent for communities of people of color all across the country. Whatever it may be, there's a 2020 that has been wrought with challenges. Now, oftentimes, obviously, when we have challenges, there's a silver lining, there's opportunity in challenges. That's not kind of what I want to talk about. I want to focus in on this particular conversation, specifically on the idea of what we have really been looking for. In other words, because of the macro, the systemic stuff that is real, we've always, as a community, whether you were a woman and you felt disenfranchised or felt that the culture was misogynistic, whether you're an African American and you felt that repression was happening on a daily basis in your communities, whether you are an immigrant and you felt the challenges of being an immigrant, whatever it may be, we always have sort of these systemic ideas in terms of what we're looking to do to advance ourselves as a people, right? To advance ourselves as a community, as a collective. And what it basically became is that we, if you look at the root cause of a lot of these issues, is that we're clamoring for justice. We're clamoring as the voiceless to have a voice and have citizenship, full citizenship, equality, right? And when you're looking at the document, the Constitution, if you take out the idea that they wrote me in as 3/5 of a human being, right? Which obviously is an issue that's part of what we're still, the root cause of what we're still looking to overcome now. But if you take that out, the document itself is a beautiful document. A document itself that gives the citizenry the opportunity and the right to pursue freedom, but not the guarantee. The opportunity and the right to pursue freedom and not the guarantee. And I think most of us throughout our life, we have been yearning for the promise of America. We've been yearning to figure out how we can become active participants. Why, what, where, and how can I be a full participant in what's going on in our country, right? And the beautiful part about what I'm going to talk to you about is that I have a couple notes here, sorry. Is that we found that solution, okay? Here's what I mean by that. For most of you, we've been getting on our knees and praying. For most of us, we get on our knees and we pray. We look for something. We're tired of facing redlining. We're tired of facing that ceiling that constantly hits us. We're tired of facing being the last hired and the first fired, even though we might be more qualified. We're tired of having to have communities that are crumbling because the infrastructure is not there. We're tired of all of these different things, and we just our hope is just that could we participate? Could we have an opportunity? Can we have opportunity? Where can I go where I can get rid of the restraints that society on the macro level, on the systemic level has placed on me? Where can I go? I can't do certain things. Only a small handful of us can play sports and achieve economic equality and economic freedom through athletic promise and the gift that comes from being able to put a ball in a hoop or throw a touchdown, right? Only a handful of us can have that opportunity, but so many of us spend our entire lives and our resources and encourage our kids, our families, our communities into an avenue which is only going to provide a sliver of hope for just a very few. How many of us say, we got to go to school and we got to get a good education so that we can get this good job, and when we get out there, we realize that the majority of us don't graduate. Now we're saddled with debt. And even when we do graduate, we still come up with that glass ceiling. The lid is still present. The opportunities are still compressed, except for a small few. How many of us wish we could go to a bank and get a loan to start a business? How many of us wish that we could get a great interest rate on a house? How many of us wish? All of these problems are prevalent, they're real, they exist, and we pray for a solution all the time. All the time. You say, you get on your knees and you say, God, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. This can't be my life. This can't be what this can't be it. It happens on a daily basis. Some of you, it might have happened last night. Some of you, it might have been this morning when your car broke down on your way to work and you don't have a means to fix it. It happens all the time because of the way that our society is structured. And guess what, folks? The reason why I wanted to come to you and talk to you today, the reason why I called this the answer, and that is hidden right in front of your face, is because we do have the answer. We do have an answer. Now, it's not the ultimate answer. It's not the only answer, but it is a real, tangible answer for the masses of the people. And no, I'm not just talking about Forex. See, what I want you to do is I actually want you to take a look at what I want you to take an honest look. I know I'm about to say something and some of y'all are going to get off this live immediately when I say it, but I want to tell you about something called network marketing. Network marketing. And we're going to strip away whatever product there is. We're going to strip away whatever the comp plan is, and we're going to look directly at the heart of what it is that you have in your hands when someone comes to you and says, hey, listen, let me show you something. We're going to get rid of all the BS. You might not like a particular product. You might not like the comp plan. We're going to get rid of all that and get down to the root cause, the root of it all. And the root of it is simply this. Most of y'all have never seen it or thought of it in this way. Most of your hesitation, by the way, that most of you have, the most of you who dropped off the live as soon as I said network marketing, that most of y'all who don't participate in the videos that we put out, even though it's all free education on how you can get free bands and improve your life because it's attached to a network marketing company, most of that stuff that's in your head does not even come from you. You didn't even put it in there. But you haven't taken the time to look at it critically and have accurate thinking and remove the stuff because it was put there by society, it was put there by parents, it's put there by other people. How many of y'all have signed up for something, went home excited about the chance that you could change your life, spoke to one person who has no idea what you're even doing, and they said that stuff doesn't work? And it immediately triggered you to say, boom. So many of y'all have been a part of company after company, opportunity after opportunity, and you think that the industry doesn't work, but you have never actively participated in the industry. Now, here's the thing. That's okay. That's okay. But I want you to look at it from a different perspective now. I want you to look at it as the answer. I want you to look at it from what I'm going to show you, from someone who has been on the streets, who has been actively involved, trying to work for empowerment, trying to work for social justice, trying to work for freedom for my whole friggin' life. And what I'm telling you is, and why I'm so passionate about what I'm talking about, is because we have the answer right in front of us. It's hidden right in front of us. We hit our knees and pray all the time. And someone comes, the prayer is answered, but the prayer comes in a way in which you don't like the wrapping, and all of a sudden, you don't take the answer that was given to you. What do I mean by that? How many of us, for the first time in our lives, just wish that if we got involved with something, it didn't matter if you were a teenage mom like my son's mother. It didn't matter if you were an unwed mother like my son's mother. It didn't matter if you're a college dropout who didn't complete his degree like me. It didn't matter if you didn't go to college. It didn't matter if the systemic nature of stuff where you grew up in LA and there's a Ramparts division, which is arbitrarily arresting young black men and sending them to prison for no reason. And all of a sudden you come out and you have a record and you have a record for no friggin' reason. And all of a sudden, how many of us would love an opportunity that said that it didn't matter that you had that record for you to have the chance to succeed? How many of y'all would love to be able to just accumulate enough wealth where you didn't have to go get the loan so that you could buy the house, you could buy the property, you could invest in the business, you could do whatever it is that you wanted to do? See, the beautiful part of what we're doing, is that when you signed the network marketing application, it didn't ask you any of those things. It didn't ask you it requires your age, 18. It didn't ask you your sexual orientation. It didn't say, hey, listen, do you like girls? Do you like guys? It didn't say, were you Christian or Muslim? It didn't ask you, were you Jewish or Buddhist? It doesn't ask you your education level. It doesn't ask you your prison record. It doesn't ask you any of those things. What it says is that when you sign on the bottom line and you sign the application that says, I want to be in business with this company, then all of a sudden it is an equal chance, an equal playing field for you to be unequal. Everybody starts at zero. Every single distributor starts at zero. Now, here's something I'm going to share with you guys, right? Here's something I'm going to share with you guys. See, the problem is that it doesn't come to you in a way that you think. When you ask, when you pray, some of you don't recognize. Some of you say, I got to go home and pray on it again. And I'm telling you, well, I prayed last night for someone to be put in front of me that needed this opportunity. And here you are. And you go home and say, well, I got to pray on what I just saw, even though I prayed last night that said I needed an opportunity. Now you're showing me an opportunity, but I got to go pray again, right? And so what happens is we miss out. You miss out on opportunities, usually from a trusted friend who's coming to you and saying, hey, listen, I found a way, I found something. And they might not be completely convicted, and they might not stay through the course of the whole journey to get to where it is that they want to get to. But what does that have to do with your opportunity? As long as they finally fully open the door that's always been cracked, that you had to always try to butt up against and butt up against and butt up against to try to get in, just inch it out a little further. That door is finally fully open. And they opened you up and they introduced you to a community and they introduced you to people and they said, here's someone more successful than me. You can, and you're worried about what they did. This is your opportunity. It's the one that you prayed for, right? And so I want you to begin to think about the fact that the barrier to entry has been removed. The barrier to entry has been removed. See, most of us, we didn't have the financial resources to invest in Facebook pre-IPO. We didn't have the money, even though we could have said, and I remember all the time, I remember when MySpace was out. I know I'm dating myself. I remember MySpace and everybody was online. I remember they would say, Tom and whatever the other guy's name is, man, I would love to get in on this. I know you guys are going to take it public. It's going to be big. I remember the conversations that would happen on MySpace. But see, even if Tom wanted to invite you in, he couldn't, because you didn't meet the requirements. Many of us have been blocked out of the opportunities that have come our way in our lifetime. They've just been blocked out. But the barrier to entry in network marketing is usually $300 to $500. I want you to think about that. You didn't have to develop the product. You didn't have to pay for the scientists. You didn't have to do the scientific research. You didn't have to build the website. You didn't have to build the back office. You didn't have to go get the banking relationships with the merchant partners in order to process orders. You didn't have to do any of the stuff that's required for a business, but you have the opportunity to grow something significant with just work, and effort. The only thing that you have to bring to the table is sweat equity. They've provided all of it for you. The barrier to entry for the first time in your life is an equal playing field. It doesn't matter if you come from a developing nation or if you're right here in the United States. Almost anybody on the planet can find a way to enter a network marketing company. The barrier to entry is gone. There's not one network marketing company that I've ever seen a presentation for that did not specifically tell you that there's work involved. See, for those of you who think it's a scam and a pyramid scheme and, oh, they're just selling you hopes and dreams, I've never been to a presentation where they didn't say it was work involved. Not one time. You came there because you had the hope that you were going to be able to do little to be able to get a lot. And so therefore, when you realize that you can't do little and get a lot, you say, oh, they didn't fulfill their promise. There's no place on earth that you can go, except for the lottery, where results comes before work, except for the lottery and the dictionary. And so I've never been anywhere. And so there's nothing wrong with the work involved in it. It comes masked in work because your situation is the product of your decisions over your lifetime, not your decisions last week. So the solution or the answer to your situation takes time because you have been sowing bad seed. You have been sowing the seed that led you to the fruit on the tree that you have currently. You have to lay a new crop. You have to put in more time. You have to sow more seed in order to change the fruit that's coming on your tree. This is just the law of nature. And so when you come into network marketing, you're expecting all these results. That's why all of you guys are jumping into a Ponzi scheme right now called the Susu flower. Whatever it is, the loom, the whatever it is that you're talking about, you guys are jumping into that, into a literally defining a Ponzi scheme. The way they get away with it is they just say they're gifting. They're gifting. Listen, if you want to save $3,000, just save $3,000. Don't take advantage of your friend, because if you get the $3,000 and stop paying, or someone gets the $3,000 and stop paying, the whole thing falls apart. They got their money, and now your friend's out his money. Just tell them to put it in a savings account. You guys can be accountable to each other. But what we're talking about is real opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's what you've been looking for. It's what if you literally designed a way in which you could get out. If you said, listen, systemically, all these things are happening, what would be the perfect opportunity? All the barriers to entry are gone. The product development is taken care of. Because most of our communities don't have a history of entrepreneurship, we actually have business leaders who have to have a vested interest in our success, and they teach us the business skills. So there's business development included in it. There's personal development to allow you to uplift yourself and to grow skills that you previously didn't have and previously didn't even know you needed, right? All of a sudden, there's leadership. There's leadership skills that become developed because you have to work with other people. All of a sudden, it's created this complete environment, and then the result is cash. It doesn't matter what network marketing company, the end result is cash flow. Is network marketing the only solution that we need in our communities and all of us need to just be network? No. What I'm saying is, but you need some way to create the cash flow. You need some way to create the skill set. You need somewhere to get the experience, and you can't do it because you've been blocked because the barrier to entry is too high. And you got something for under $500, which is going to teach you all of those things, even if it costs you $500 a month. Your regular business, brick and mortar, don't cost you $500 a month, folks. And so I hope you're getting what I'm saying. I'm passionate about this. I hope you can see it. I hope you can feel it. I hope you understand what I'm saying to you. This is the answer that you've been praying for. Now, it doesn't matter what company it is. It doesn't matter what company it is. I'm involved with a certain company. I love it. I believe in it. I believe in it because of the financial literacy, which is an additional benefit that comes from what we do. I love it because the customer can win, the IBO can win, all of us can win together, and we can do it simultaneously. I love it because the cost of entry is so low that it allows us to be able to go into places that are developing around the world, and we can begin to impact people no matter where they're from around the world. I love it. I love what we do. I love the idea that we can take smartphone technology, which is now emerging, which we're still at the infancy of, and we can begin, along with being at the infancy of the internet, and we can begin to help people take their phone, which they're on all the time, all day, and they can begin to change their lives. I love our company, but there's a lot of great companies. And when your people come to you, and they say, let's sit down, and you tell them it's a scam, and you don't even know where that came from. You don't even know who put that in there. Somewhere when you were 5 years old, Aunt Sally got involved in something, did something, didn't do any work, came back and said that thing was a scam. Now you heard it, you overheard it. Now that seed was planted, it's been germinating in your mind for the last 25 years. Now an opportunity comes and you say, is that one of those things? Damn right, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that provides you the opportunity. It's one of those things that's the answer to what you've been praying for. See, folks, if you understand the root of how this works, and you're from a community that looks like mine, what do we always say? I am my brother's keeper. Each one teach one. Don't just leave the hood, reach back and grab somebody else. These are the conversations. These are the hood conversations that we have, right? These are the conversations that we talk to each other about all the time. Do you know that the whole basis of our industry is just that? I can't succeed. I cannot make a dime until I help you make a dollar. I have a vested interest. I am vested in my team. I invest in my team. I sow time, I sow energy, I sow my knowledge. I give them everything that I've learned so far for free to my team. I give it to them. I sow constantly. Why? Because if they don't win, I can't win. Where else do you get that? Where else do you get it? Where else is that particular environment? See, we're so used to being taken advantage of. We're so broken. We're so hurt. We've gone through so much trauma that oftentimes we can't even see the solution. We can't even, we don't even know what to do, folks. I'm just telling you that the answer has been right in front of your face the whole time. You have to put in work. It requires a lot of effort, but there's never once in my life that I've seen and I've studied it throughout history. I've made it my life's mission to study this one particular topic. How do people get free? And never once that I've ever discovered and throughout history did freedom come without blood, sweat, and tears, without hard work, without effort, without sacrifice, without putting things on the back burner. Never once did it not require focus. Never once. They say right now, in order to move from poverty to wealth, it takes 20 uninterrupted years of perfect financial decisions. You want to know what's the perfect financial decision? Involve yourself in a network marketing company. Find a product that you believe in. Find a leadership, most important, on the corporate side and whoever that you're going to be able to work with. Find a leadership that you believe in. Look for mentorship. Look for people who are actually out there serving. Look for Randy and Wanda Webb, who are chairman 25s in our organization. This is the second network marketing company they've been in. And they're chairman 25s. The first one, they hit the top rank. They're on their way to the top rank in our company as well. There is no need for someone at their level to do launch meetings for new people. But when I was looking to be a part of something, I was looking for people to mentor me. I was looking for people who were exceptional. I was looking for people that had something that I didn't have. I was a fruit inspector. I was looking for what it is so that I could grow myself, so that I didn't have to stay stagnant. I didn't want to stay where I was at. And so the fact that the leadership that I have access to, Nafis Khan, Chairman 10 in Canada, Sakina Abdul-Jalil does meetings with me, Chairman Platinum 5000, moving on to Chairman 10. You know, Edwin Pender out of the Bahamas, Lillian, all the interviews that you're seeing out of Kenya, more people from Kenya coming to follow soon. And you begin to see that these people are pouring and pouring and pouring in, not because they have to. They don't have to. Listen, my organization, I'm gonna be honest with you, my organization, outside of the fact that I'm an active vocal participant in the organization, my organization is insignificant to the income of Randy and Wanda Webb. But yet, you've seen me on Instagram Lives, you see flyers for launch calls with their faces all over it. You see them pouring in on morning mentorship. They've given me the opportunity to participate on their platform and share some of the ideas that I have. Do you see what I'm talking about? That business development leadership where they're helping me develop and grow myself as a leader. I once had the opportunity to participate with a man by the name of James Lee out of Asia. James Lee, by the time I met him, had a customer base in his business of over 1 million customers. He had built a subscriber base of over 1 million customers. His business was doing several $100 million a year in revenue every year. And that man out of Singapore flew to the States 2 or 3 times to work with me personally. Invested more money in me than I ever made him. He was on a call, a Zoom presentation with my organization every week for about 16 months, whether we had people on or not, whether we invited guests or not, sewing into us, teaching us, giving us skill set. Where on earth can you go and get a mentorship relationship with a friggin' entrepreneur that's built a business that does $300 million a year or more in revenue, and he works with you every week personally, flies from Singapore to work with you personally? What are y'all turning down? What are y'all doing? Bryce Thompson, 23 years old. David Imanitie, the wealthiest African-American in all of network marketing. They do stuff all the time for people who are just getting started. The accessibility to these people is unbelievable. It's unreal. And you have a chance to learn skill sets that you can use here, and you can apply the stuff that we learn on the mentorship call. It's not network marketing specific. It's not Forex specific. The stuff I learned from James Lee wasn't travel specific. The stuff that I learned from Errol Webley is not, that's life. They've built me up. They've given me skills that I never knew I had. They've unlocked potential that I didn't know was there because of this industry. I've built relationships with people like Matthew Levy that have lasted 20 plus years. Well, not, maybe not 20 years, but about 20 years now. It's been a long time. Me and Matt been at it, right? You build friendships, you build relationships, you have your kids around the right people, you put in the right ideas. It's amazing what happens, the transformation, the process. Folks, it's the answer. It's the answer that you've been looking for. It's right in front of your face. Is it going to be the only solution necessary? In some cases, yes, but not in all. In some cases, for you and your individual family, it is going to be what's necessary. For some of us who have a goal to impact the planet, it's a vehicle to do it. It's a vehicle to do it. It's a vehicle to provide hope, to give people hope. It's a vehicle to give people a solution that they can apply tomorrow. It's a vehicle where if people will just work and participate in their own rescue, that they can do phenomenal things. It's a vehicle that requires faith. It's a vehicle that requires you to bet on you. It's a vehicle that provides you with an opportunity, but not a guarantee. And that's the best thing that I could ever tell you. Guarantees come with a floor. Opportunities allow you to be able to go anywhere. They come with a floor and a ceiling, right? You can only do so much with a guarantee. Opportunity, folks. So anyway, listen, I'm passionate. I love it. I understand what it means. I understand the macro. I understand the big picture. I understand that most of us don't have the skill set to venture into economic empowerment. Most of us don't have the resources to venture into economic empowerment. I understand that most of us don't have the ability, well, we have the ability, we don't have the skill set, the education, the teaching to venture into creating a cash cow. And so we need that guidance. We need that help. We need that stuff done for us so that we can see how it's done. Maybe one day you do want to create your own product. Maybe one day you do want to bring it to market. Maybe one day, as you grow up in the ranks of what we're doing, you're beginning to see how it's put together. You begin to see how they market stuff. You begin to see how they package it. You begin to see, maybe you even grow up enough where you begin to have a relationship with corporate and you get to see behind the scenes of how some of that side of things are done. And one day you're able to launch your own. It's amazing what we're talking about. Maybe you come into our community and what you really want to do is real estate, but you have no way to get the cash together, and you create the cash through this community. And then all of a sudden you have Dr. Jewel Tankard, and you have Randy Webb, and you have Wanda Webb, and you have all these people who are real estate investors on a serious level, who now are part of your network, who now you can ask questions, who now have a vested interest in your success. Folks, I hope you feel what I said. If you're looking for an opportunity tonight, I'm going to do a presentation at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on what our opportunity is and why I'm so passionate about what we're doing and why it's allowing me to be a single dad and stay at home and be with my daughter and all of the things that I'm getting the benefits out of and where I see it going and how I'm going to be able to impact those 1 million lives and what we're able to do and how I'm able to work through my definite chief aim and my purpose in life, which has been defined and very clear for the last 20 years since I left college, since I entered college really, of what I wanted to achieve and how I'm going to be able to do it. And so I'm excited about learning the principles, the law of the lid. I'm excited about learning the law of compensation and the fact that all of these years and all of the sowing and all of the work, it has to come back. It has to come back. I have to get compensated for what I did. It's a law of the universe. So all of the effort. And so I'm not excited about what that's going to do for my family. I am a little, okay? But I'm more excited about what does that mean on the impact I'm going to be able to have. But anyway, folks, enough about me. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I wanted to come to you with this message because I don't think people think about our industry clearly. I don't think they have accurate thinking. Are there people within the industry who have nefarious intentions? Sure. There's some people who just want to sign you up and not help you. Sometimes it's hard to decipher that at the beginning, but it's very quick to get to the root of that. But here's what I'll tell you, is that there's someone in an organization, whether if you believed in the product and the person signed you up and left you abandoned and now you got a bad taste in your mouth, why didn't you just go look for someone else in the organization to help you? Why don't you just go ask a question? Why don't you just go to the company's Facebook page and say, hey, listen, I'm on this team and I don't know what I'm doing. Can someone help me? Can someone reach out? I guarantee you, it's an environment where you have an equal opportunity to become unequal. It's an opportunity for us to stop playing victim. I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way because the challenges that we face are real. But if you can stop playing the victim in your mind and start being the conqueror, the solution provider, if you can begin to say that I am an overcomer, if you can begin to implement the habits of success, the laws of success into your life, you can accomplish what it is that you want. It's an equal opportunity. It is an equal opportunity to be unequal. And what I want to do is I want to live an extraordinary life. I want to leave an extraordinary legacy. And for me to do that, it requires me to do that little thing called extra. See, extraordinary is just ordinary without the extra. And I'm willing to come on here every day. I'm willing to sow no matter how many people watch these videos. I'm willing to come on here and share because maybe one day someone's going to get the message, and one day someone's life will be changed, and one day someone will be impacted. And I don't know where that seed is going to lead, but I know that I've done the right thing and I am creating a legacy. I know that 400 years from now, when my family lineage goes back and looks on the cloud and they say at the time of history, when it was finally had the chance for barriers to be broken, the internet happened, all of a sudden people could sell products from no matter where they were in the world. They could all have a smartphone and they could do business with anybody. People didn't even need to know your color, your ethnicity, your background. They didn't need to know any of that in order for you to create a wealth transfer. At the time of the greatest wealth transfer of our lifetime, in the year of 2020, what happened? What did you do? And I know for a fact that my family will be able to look back and they'll say that that man did everything he could to create a legacy, did everything he could to change his life, did everything he could to rid himself of the excuse of where he was born, what he looked like, what his race was, and he said that he was going to do what it took to create a better future. And so I'm excited. I hope you are too. I hope you understand where I'm coming from with this message. I hope it sits with you well. If it doesn't, not my fault, but here we go, folks. I appreciate your time today. I'll see you guys at 7 o'clock tonight. Ain't it great?